Sorry, guys.
Damn it, Tim.
They were crazy out there.
All right, guys, your top three for tonight: Kevin Swindell, Brad Sweet, Tim McCreadie are your top three. So fire away.
Yeah, just the first run, from what I could tell, by the screen when the yellow come out, and was trying to see where they were in comparison. It seemed like I was okay, and I kind of just went back to a little bit of conservative after the restart there, and I really didn't get a good 1 and 2 or 3 and 4, and I knew it'd kind of go away. And on the yellow too, Dad had walked out there and just kind of, you're fine, just keep doing what you're doing, and so I knew just keep the momentum up and keep rolling, and I'd be okay. I felt like, it's just a lot of times it's a lot harder to make a mistake up there than it is on the bottom. And you can miss the bottom and lose a lot of time, but if you make a mistake on the top, you can still kind of bury yourself out and get a big run back down the straightaway or something, and kind of save yourself. So for me, that was simpler. Yeah, I didn't know how far ahead I was, so you just got to keep digging and keep plowing away like they're right there with you. And one time I thought I heard somebody, so I just assumed to keep going pretty hard there. And then I got to Fike and Fike and Westfall there, and they were too wide, and there was really nowhere to go. And Fike kept tripping over the cushion and kind of stopping, and I didn't really know who to follow. And I got all the way up in the infield there one time on Westfall, and still didn't let me go. So it was all right. I finally cleared them, and then just tried not to make any mistakes. Yeah, I think the ledge getting into 3 there got pretty hard, and it looked like a few times there in the past you've seen where when it gets wet and the trucks pack it, they'll pack a little kind of a dip into the racetrack, and I think that's kind of what happened there, and made it really ledgy, and I got him there a couple times and got the left rear off the ground and knew that I really just didn't need to do that anymore. So moved down, and you had to really get it just right to skate across and pick it up to be in it enough to get back out of it before you got to the big ledge back off of 4.
Brad, you were in a battle with Jerry Coons there early on, and finally were able to get around with. If you could have done that quicker, do you have any sense that you had anything?
Oh yeah, I was just reeling him in the last 10 laps. No, I knew Jerry had found a little something on that restart before on the bottom, and Cole was making it happen too. So I knew that the longer the race went, that bottom would wear out. So I just kept sticking with the top, kind of like Kevin there, and on that restart I was able to get by Cole, and that gave me a free lane, and then I got by Jerry, and then he started to check out pretty good there. The cushion was getting pretty treacherous, and I was making a few mistakes, but my car was handling pretty good, and we made a lot of good laps there, and feel like we were pretty good, but we still got a lot of work to do.
You worked awfully hard to get through, Tim. What was that like? You had a lot of traffic.
Oh, I mean, it's just our whole night was kind of behind, and we just worked. I mean, that's all you can do. I've been here a few years now, and my success hasn't been as good as my failures lately. So I'm just happy to be up here with these guys. I didn't know he was in the race because I never saw him, so he was so far out. He might have saw me more than I saw him, but for Andy and everybody, it's he called me and told me that Damien was going to do one and I could do the other, and it's good for him. I mean, he builds stuff that belongs in that feature because that's how nice it is. So I'm happy to get that for him.
Was it just a matter of you guys finally getting the car good, or you just getting more comfortable in the car?
Oh, it's a little bit of both. I mean, I struggle here a lot. Those are the conditions I usually struggle in because it's these cars are don't mistake, these cars are easy to drive because they're not, and I still am uncomfortable a lot, and these guys do a heck of a job, and that's why I get married to the bottom a lot, just because it's safer. It's a lot easier to drive in down there and not get bicycling or any of that stuff. So Andy's cars have been good down there. So I don't know. I mean, every time we hit the track tonight, we changed 4 springs, so we weren't good. But I've learned a long time ago that if you throw enough darts, sometimes you get lucky. So we'll take it tonight.
Brad, you said you made some mistakes. What were you thinking?
Well, the cushion was getting treacherous, so like just getting in a little bit too hard and tripping on it a little bit, getting pushing. So, the car was really good though when I would hit it right, but there was just so many spots on the cushion on the exit of 4. It was just so big and ledgy that it was just easy to get tripped up on it. And you got to run these cars tight to be fast here, and they're just right on the edge. So anytime you hit it just wrong a little bit, it's easy to get in a push or a bicycle. So, a couple mistakes throughout the race, but I felt like I drove fairly well, and it was a good race, good night overall for us, really.
Jeff, how much debriefing from Dad last night did play a part today? I'm sorry.
I got me going. I thought she
I mean, after what did Dad debrief last night? I mean, we play a little bit. Last year, I think we made a gain on his night. This year, we kind of just have set on what we normally did and just kind of did, our normal stuff. So I don't think we really improved from what we've had before here. But we're definitely back on the pace and. Yeah, I mean we're good. I mean, this is the first time we've came back with some new pieces and a different rear end and from DMI and different steering from Sweet. So not this Sweet, but so it's good to be able to put new pieces in and come back and still be able to put the same results down.
A year ago, your dad on Saturday night said that the driving styles were different and therefore the cars were a little bit different. Did you use the same setup as your dad, or were they?
And what was the setup?
Yeah.
No, actually, I think like the first year I won, we were different. Last year was a lot closer together, or the last 2 years were a lot closer together. The biggest thing that changed was from that first year to the second year was I got bigger, I got heavier, I grew a little bit from I was 19 or whatever, 18, whatever then, and I think I gained like 20 pounds, and then it got us to where our weight was even in the car. So that put us back on a couple things that I had to go more to his style, and I think he found over the winter this was probably the most prep we've had, and he found a couple little things where our cars were just a touch different. Things were just in little different places. So now they're probably as exact as they've ever been. I think everything but the seats are the same now.
So you got some improvement to go?
I hope not. We hope he doesn't improve anymore.
We can try. I mean, it's there's always room for improvement.
Tim, how different is it when you jump in a midget? You've certainly done plenty of it, but obviously it's not something you've done full-time.
Well, I mean, the cars we run back home are a lot like that. The big block modifieds, you take the bodies off, and it's the same suspension. So I have an idea what I'm looking for, and the biggest problem I've always had out here is coming in blind, meeting people you never met before, and trying to get on the same page. Because really, like, the stuff that we do when I've been successful here is probably different than opposite of what a lot of guys do that run these cars. Just because I've never been the guy that's going to bend before the flag stand, and I got to feel my right front and things like that. And it's hard. I mean, it really is, because you don't have time to get behind here. I mean, in one mistake, you're in a back of an A main scrambler or whatever, and like I said, I didn't think we were going to come up through. I knew we were going to be decent. I was hoping to get near a B main, and when I saw the board and where I was at, I was tickled. I was just hoping that Jerry didn't drive around me like he did earlier this week. So it's like I said, it's as bad as it started is as good as it ended, and it's all gravy from here on out for us, no matter what happens.
What do you think I mean, you started back there.
Yeah. I mean, I've started in the back here. Like, the features, the hardest thing is to get into the race. Maybe not. I mean, maybe not for him, because he's usually. But for me, the hardest. The race dies. The track dies, and I'm a true believer that if you get your stuff right, you can maneuver in these cars probably better than any cars I've ever driven. Because the good thing about these cars, when you miss, like you said, you can't stop yourself and just go again. You got to go all the way there or all the way back down there, and that puts a lot of driver back in these cars, which is fun for me. It's just, I'm better if we can run long races and get in the show. That might not mean anything, but I just know that it's hard for me to run an 8-lap race starting sixth and drive by guys just because I'm just not aggressive enough. But, hey, that's never going to change, so I better build my program better.
Just got to get a little nasty.
it's hard, you know. And when I grew up doing this, you got nasty, you get punched in the mouth a lot. So it's just how we race, and really these guys do the same thing. So it's you know, it is what it is. I'm just excited to be here. I mean, I was lucky. We won a race here a long time ago, and man, it's been coming here every year and leaving with my tail between my legs, and just going back to run late models in Florida and struggling. And like I said, anything can happen in this feature. I'm happy to be in it, and just like I was before, and it's cool. So if we have a bad night tomorrow, it don't matter. We're way successful more than I've been in 6-7 years. That's all right. My night, yeah, maybe tomorrow morning.
Yeah, hungover maybe.
Let's talk about that qualifier. You started 6th, you got knocked back to 9th, man. That was probably the comeback of the night here.
Yeah, they just they didn't give me a lot of outs the first lap there, and you know, he kind of run me up the front straightaway wall and then run through the middle and hung himself and let 2 of them go by us, and then we got down the back and he stopped and run over his left rear, and I was just at that point I just quit. I was like, I can't wreck this thing right here because then I'm really buried, and just kind of stopped and regrouped and luckily got back a couple of them before the yellow come out, and then you know, was just in the right place and was able to be the only one that really stuck the bottom the 2 laps after the restart, and then it was you know, it was simple from there. But you know, it just comes down to the cars you end up with and the way things break. And I mean, you can obviously, like a lot of guys, you can be done in the first lap of the heat race if something that's not even your fault.
Kevin, is it going to matter Saturday night, first or second row?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's between, you know, me and Dad and Kyle and there's probably more cars. I think everybody's gotten closer to us this year than we were. You know, I felt like we were really comfortable last year, you know, but it's it can be tough to pass. And just like I think tonight seemed to be racier than the few nights have, but you know, if it ends up narrow or you know, one lane on the top or something and not wide enough to really slide a guy, I mean, it could be hard just to get by 1 or 2 cars.
I'll carry this. Okay. Remember, hit it again. Down the middle, please. Good. No.
That awkward, what do I do with my hands moment?
Hands to your side. Hands to your side.
He's from New York, guys. Don't scare him.